it's Karen. How are you? Once again, I'm going to answer a question from one of my viewers, and I just love it when you guys ask me questions. They're great questions, and it's interesting for me because sometimes I really forget because I've been sober for a little while, and I need to be reminded about these questions. So thank you very much. This one is from a woman who is decided to take a healthy move and step away from her husband who has an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. I admire and respect the fact she did not call him an alcoholic, and she didn't go into much detail about him except for he's a very functional alcoholic and he has an unhealthy relationship with it, and it is obviously affected their relationship, and so she is going to Al-Anon, and she is doing the things she needs to do to take care of herself and her kids, and I honor that. I really do. Her question was about her children. She has some younger children, but they're smart, right? So kids are very smart, and kids know what's going on, and she's pretty sure that her kids do not know about his relationship with alcohol, and she wants to know if she should explain to them why she's leaving, that this is happening. And, you know, I think the ages, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, you get the idea. I think they were like 6 and 9 and 11, you know, somewhere around there, 11, 12. There was a few kids. I think there was 3. And, you know, that's a great question. And I'm going to tell you, this is my experience again. I have a daughter, and I was in a relationship with her father for some time, and then we split up. And we did the best thing. I was in an AA. He was in Al-Anon. We met when I was sober, so he didn't know anything, but he had Al-Anon issues in his family, he found out. And so we split up, and we had this little girl, and she's 4 at the time we split up. And we wanted to do this right. So we had some friends in the program that were actually attorneys, and they were doing this great program through the court system, and it was a co-parenting course. Now, most of the people that took this course were people that were court appointed, that had to take it because they were fighting and, you know, they're getting a divorce, they were doing custody battles. Well, this guy and I decided, my daughter's father and I, decided to take it because we didn't want to harm our daughter, right? And it was not going well. So they taught us some great things. And one of the things was that our separation, I'd say divorce, but we weren't actually married. We were together for a long time, but we were not married. And you don't need to give me your opinion about that. I really don't care. So anyway, you get it. We more or less like divorced. And it was, you know, it was bitter. And they told us, you know what, do not make this your kid's problem. This has nothing to do with your kids, right? Do not pass notes back and forth to each other through your child. Don't give your kid paperwork and say, hey, give this to your dad. Don't talk that bad about the other person. Don't, you know, make this as easy as possible. They don't need to know all the grime and grit. They will figure it out later when they're older. You need to show them how adults act towards each other. So if they're in this situation, they know how to do this with some dignity and respect, okay? So you're teaching your children how to treat someone else. So they told him that every time you talk bad about Karen in front of your daughter, you're teaching your daughter how men treat women. And that changed his world. He got it in that moment, that he was teaching our daughter how men treat women. And he did not want her to be with somebody that did what he was doing, right? So that was powerful. It was powerful because we started to co-parent. Now, did he have problems? Yes. Did I have problems? Yes. But we decided to be a team. And even though there was a period of time when she didn't see him at all, I did not talk bad about him. And he was always welcome to the house. And, you know, I had some restrictions and some things about the time he could come or how long he could stay, because we are human and we start getting snippy with each other. You know what I mean? But we tried our best. So the answer to the question is, if you have children, and this is happening, where they don't know their father's an alcoholic, or she doesn't think they do, I don't think there's any reason to tell them. Your divorce is none of their business, okay? It's still their father. I'm sure you're still going to let him see them. Because he is drinking, you might have some restrictions that you've set up with him, like he doesn't drive them, or he can pick them up, you'll drop them off and pick them up, or whatever it is you decide. You're their mother. And I think as they get older, they will probably put it together on their own. And when they ask you, be honest. Just say, yes. I don't know if he's an alcoholic or not. I know he drinks, and it did affect our relationship, and that's why I had to leave, right? You can say that if they ask. But otherwise, I don't think there's any reason. The biggest problem you're going to have is your other family members telling them, like an aunt or an uncle or somebody who's on your side, going, well, it was a good thing your mother left that drunk. You know, I mean, that's what you're going to have problems with, is family. But your kids and you should be able to have a pretty healthy relationship. I would also, though, in California, one of the very best children's programs is at the Betty Ford Center. And I've had people if you're alumni of Betty Ford, your children get to go for free. And when I had my relapse, I sent my daughter. She knew nothing about it. I was always sober. And then when I relapsed, it turned her world upside down, and I sent her to the Betty Ford Center children's program. It was fantastic. So it will not harm them at all. If you think they've picked up on the characteristics of and are going to grow up as adult children of alcoholics, if there's been some harm there, it's not harmful at all to get them into a children's program, still without saying anything about their father. You know, and it might not be they need it now, but maybe later. So I don't think there's any reason to say anything to them except for, I love your dad, but your dad loves you, but our marriage is not working out. And that's all, really, it's none of their business. And the other big challenge is when you break up with someone like this and you've got kids, the oldest one usually starts becoming your spouse. You automatically depend on them to help with the other children, and it's not fair. Don't make your children your spouse or your partner, whether it's a girl or a boy. It's the easiest thing to do, especially when you're coming out of an alcoholic relationship, because you've had no support. And now you've got this older kid, and the older they get, the more they become like your co-parent. And you don't want that to happen. They'll resent you later, okay? So I think that you're doing just fine. Just keep going to Al-Anon, and remember that this is an adult problem. It's your problem. If it starts becoming a problem where he's drinking and showing up drunk, then yes, let's have another conversation, okay? Love you. Bye.